Hello riders and not. Today on the vlog is Kawasaki Vulcan S. When you think of Kawasaki as a brand, do you think of a cruiser? Me, I'm definitely not. This is the first Kawasaki that I am reviewing, and I decided to start from the cruisers because I started riding on the cruiser. I started riding on the Harley-Davidson Sportster and I did many miles on it. I reviewed a lot of cruisers and I believe that I know about them more than anything else, purely because of my experience of riding my Harley-Davidson Sportster Iron, which is not in production anymore. So I thought it would be great to do some reviews of other cruisers that are in production at the moment, and why not to try and review some Japanese cruisers like Kawasaki Vulcan S. Today I made an exemption and I'm starting my review not from the very first impressions, purely because once I started riding it I couldn't stop. An hour and a half later I had to stop because I realized I didn't even put my helmet camera on. I just kept riding and riding and riding, and that says a lot about the first impressions of a bike. I started the day with doing a photo shoot, as always, for a thumbnail and for my Instagram. Follow me if you're not already, tomboy a bit. And also installing my quad lock for a proper ride, because I have a bike for 2 days from Colchester to Kawasaki. If I can't fit a handlebar mount, I'm using a smaller mount, which is a mirror mount. Also, I have a brake cylinder mount and all the different mounts to fit on every single bike. Also, one of the newest accessories is a action camera mount that mounts just like your phone. I'm trying to do it one-handed, just like so, and you can put your 360, a GoPro, DJI, whatever camera you are using, and film yourself on the road, straight on the bars. Very quick fix, very quickly taking on and off, trying to do it one-handed. Yeah, very safely attached, just like your phone on your handlebars. I think that's perfect, and I love how quickly I can swap from one accessory to the other without any hustle, without wasting my time and spending more time on riding motorcycles rather than playing with different accessories that I need to film the footage for you. As usual, I'm starting my review with the fit of the bike. I'm 1 meter 75 centimeters, 5'9", nearly said 6'9". I did that before. I know I'm 5'9" now. And as you can see, the bike fits me very nicely. My legs has a little bend, which is normal on the cruisers. Very rarely they are taller than this. And my leg, when it's up, just hugs the tank nicely. Forwards are not too far because I don't like them too far. I don't like sitting like this. There's no stretch in it, and when I sit, it's, I would say, a perfect sitting position. For my personal liking, I prefer more of a bobber style, especially on the bikes looking modern like this. I would prefer the bars lower on this. I'm not particularly keen of the look of the mini apes on the modern looking cruiser. However, I have to say, guys, it is extremely comfortable to sit and extremely comfortable to ride. I have my rucksack at the back on the ride and I don't feel the weight because I'm not leaning too much forward. I rode country lanes, I rode national speed limits so far today, and I didn't feel any discomfort, and in fact I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. Everything is in the right places. I can reach all the controls with my little hands and the levers. Everything is nice and smooth, and it's nothing about the fit that I should complain about. It definitely fits me very nicely. It's not too heavy, 225 kilograms if I'm correct. I'll pop the exact numbers up there. And the weight balance is so good that when you have to push the bike or just duck around, you feel very comfortable on it. I feel very comfortable on it.
I'm pushing the bike up to my filming spot and doing a pushing test, which is, considering it's heavy bike, it's very easy.
A couple of things that I'm not that keen on are the mirrors, but I really like the mirrors as they are. Also, as I mentioned, the bars are not entirely my style. Even though it is comfortable, I would suffer. I would rather have it less comfortable but looking more bobber style, more aggressive. Plus, I prefer leaning a little bit while I'm riding. This is why I lowered the bars on my Sportster, but this is my very personal preference. As for mirrors, I think they are too chunky for the bike, and somehow most probably they fit the design, but it's like, for my taste, I would change them to something that probably would go down and would be less into your face. However, I can see through them a lot. I can see everything. I only cover about 1/4 of each mirror with my little shoulders, so I can see everything behind, which is exactly what you need from the mirrors on the motorcycle. Also, from the design point of view, tail tidy definitely needs to be done, and a few little things that I would definitely make my own, and I wouldn't keep it as it is if that would be my bike. But that is a personal taste and personal preference.
First of all, if you are not a fan of forwards, like I am not, these are super easy to adjust because they are not too far, and I didn't spend any time searching for them at any point while I start riding. It's just very quick to adjust. Plus, I didn't feel any discomfort of having forwards, because sometimes when you go on the bends, when you have forwards and you're not used to them, it can be difficult to feel the bike on this. Because I hug the tank, Jesus Christ, I collected so much grass. Because I hug the tank with my legs, it doesn't feel awkward at all. I need some petrol, I believe. And can you hear it? In the way, it sounds like a cruiser, doesn't it? And it has clunks on changing gear. It's super torquey at the low range, just like all the cruisers that I'm riding. And if you are not used to that kind of torque, then you might need some time to adjust to it, but it's super quick. I must say, I'm also very surprised and surprised and not at the same time, because it's a Japanese bike. So I kind of expected it to be very easy to ride and agile, and it definitely is. It's super easy to corner, super easy to ride. It's super user-friendly, I must say. It's very hard to make a mistake on it unless you are completely like going bonkers, then definitely you can, but otherwise it's nice and easy to ride. It is very, very enjoyable. It's nice rides for your soul, I have to say, without any urge to use your license or your head. And especially if you are a new rider, sometimes fueling up some bikes can be a little bit more complicated than the other one. So open the tank sometimes can be not easy. Excuse me, I'm chewing my Polo. Let's see how easy is this one. That's it. No secret scrolling things. Everything is nice and easy, just like that. Opening it up, closing up. Closing, you have to push a little bit, just like so. Brilliant. Let's do some dual carriageway motorway speeds, or the maximum speeds that you can do in UK, which is 70 miles per hour. Without skipping a beat, absolutely, with no problem whatsoever. However, for a cruiser, you have all the wind coming into you. I have all the wind coming into me when I ride my own cruiser, so it's not a problem for me. But if you want to ride more comfortably, then I would suggest getting a windshield, at least some sort, and it will be more comfortable. As for vibration or any other discomfort coming from the engine, I couldn't feel anything. Mirrors are showing everything perfectly. No too much vibration, because sometimes you have too much vibration in the mirrors, and on the high speeds, especially when you have to check the mirrors constantly riding on the motorways, it can be too vibrating. Being big and bulky, thick mirrors, they shows you everything just great, because I've noticed that mostly you have them vibrating too much when the leg is quite long and thin. If it is thick leg like this, normally it is okay. However, if you'll change the mirrors, have upside down, obviously you will sacrifice, most probably you will sacrifice with a view that you have. As you can see, reaching 70 miles per hour and going 70 miles per hour or a little bit above, or it's still some torque left. Be sure of that. It definitely can do more than that. However, it is a legal speed, and that's the only speed that I can show in the camera. But trust me saying that it can go faster than that. You have to trust my word. I did some research. Vulcan S shares the same engine as a famous Ninja 650. It shares the same engine as Z650, and also I forgot how it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot the name. I will remember that and I'll write it down. And I've been told at Kawasaki that the curve of the torqueness of the engine and setup of the engine is very similar on all of them. So you don't get significant difference on Vulcan comparing, for example, with Z650 or Sporty Ninja. You get pretty much the same. It also can be adjusted for an A2 license here in UK. This adjustment needs to be done at Kawasaki, and it's remapping service, and once you need it for your full license, then you have to map it again. I chose to come to a town of Clacton. It's a beach town here in Essex. Not probably the nicest of the beach towns in this country. However, it has a pretty nice beach comparing with the local beaches. Not the nicest though, definitely not. Well, you will see yourself. I mean, I will leave you to judge. Let's get back to the bike, and I will talk how easy or complicated it is to ride it in the urban area, and in the urban area that I'm not that familiar with. I deliberately don't have my navigation on. I will try to navigate to the town center, then to the beach, just following the signs and talking to you. So it's a lot of distractions while riding, and we will see how comfortable I feel with those forwards riding in the urban area where is a lot of things happening. To get to Clacton, it was cruising all the way, what the bike is made for. It was very pleasant. It's a hot day. A lot of cars were coming to Clacton, and I felt equally good overtaking as well as just cruising behind and staying in my own mind. So it's definitely good for somebody who wants to have a relaxed ride. But if you need to overtake, if you want to go faster, if you want to push it, then the bike will allow you to. One of the main reasons why I'm not a big fan of forwards is because you can't stand up when riding. I like sometimes being able to stand up, and sometimes I like to stand up quite a bit. Well, riding depends from the surface of the road, and here in UK you have all sorts of surfaces on the road. So I'm missing that also, guys, because I have my helmet camera. When I stand up, sometimes I can show you a little bit more of a beautiful views around. I'm not able to do that. But I have to mention, even though these forwards fits me nicely, it is adjustable by 3 points, only 2 bolts, and you can do it yourself. You don't have to go to Kawasaki and pay £500 for your forward adjustments. Also, the bars can be adjusted towards or slightly away from you, and it is a range of accessories that you can get at Kawasaki, as well as different bars, different seat, and different things to make it more comfortable for your height, your preferences, or anything else. And here's the sea. Oh. Easy to find neutral. Some bikes are more complicated than the others. This one is super easy. The dash is super duper simple, so as all the electronics on the bike. It's no modes, no nothing. It's simply about riding a motorcycle, enjoying the ride, and not thinking too much about the buttons and what you can do on that. If you want to have more complicated dash and other bits, so that you can get the aftermarket one, but this is a pure simplicity.
It's super windy, guys, so I'll be holding my camera like this because it will get blown off the tripod if I'll try to set up my normal filming. As you can see, the bike now is on a beautiful shore of the Brightling Sea. It's gorgeous here, so peaceful, and I had a wonderful ride, day 2. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought, and the quirky look, which quirky for a cruiser for me, I'm falling in love with. It's just different. It's something I didn't expect it from Kawasaki. I definitely had a brilliant riding experience. I did a lot of riding off the camera, enjoying every curve. It's super nimble for a cruiser as well. Comparing with a cruiser that I have, it's so much more easier to control, so much more easier to ride the bends, to ride the twisties, to do mini roundabouts, to ride in the urban area as well, which sometimes on the cruisers, very tight roundabouts, very tight corners can be challenging. This goes nice and smooth, and it's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to ride whenever I went. I personally don't like riding motorways, but from the cruiser you expect to handle higher speeds, you expect to spend long distances on the straight roads and enjoy the ride, and I equally enjoyed sometimes pushing it and being a little bit of a hooligan, not too much because it's not that type of a motorcycle, equally as being behind the cars and just cruising along, enjoying the views. When I was riding 70 miles per hour, I couldn't notice anything that would not allow to do it for a long time. However, if the road is bumpy, the suspension is quite hard. It's probably even harder than normally it is for me, even considering my low weight. But also I have to mention that the seat is not the most comfortable. After spending a few hours on it, I could feel that after a few more my bump would be sore. So if you are planning to do long distances, maybe it's worth considering the different seat, which you can find on Kawasaki website. And I read some forums, I did some research, and people say that you can get a gel seat, which also you can adjust your sitting position with if this is not comfortable for you. Except from that, I mean, I like everything about it. It's a mid-weight, small cruiser, and what you would expect from that particular bike, it delivers everything and more for the price that you pay for it. If you are a beginner rider and wants to start riding on it, I think it's more than suitable for that. It's super easy to ride in every different environment. Don't be afraid of over 200 kilograms weight, because it's very beautifully balanced. One thing that you might find a little bit difficult is the engine braking is quite hard and you could feel it. So for the beginner rider, it might be something that you will find less comfortable, and also it is torquey at the low range. So be careful, be gentle with your clutch, don't rev it too high to start with. Play with the clutch and you will be fine. You will be absolutely fine. In fact, I'm sure that you will have a lot of fun on it. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.